It is Wednesday evening. Hello! It is Hilarapy Day for me, so it's a day that I really cherish and have grown to really admire some of the people that I'm working with on the Hilarapy scene. Hilarapy, for those of you that don't know, is a comedy plus therapy group that I belong to, that I'm helping assist other people who have taken the programming, gone through comedy therapy, are starting to produce new comedy. And one of the things that we wanted to bring from Hilarapy at the time of COVID is an outlet. So, an outlet for people to come and plug into, where they can, sort of have a sacred space where they can come and share the emotions and feelings that they're having around things, share their good news, share their not so good news, collectively as a community connect, and then work on comedy from there. And so that's been a 6 or 8 week process now. And what I've watched develop is so amazing and incredible. Human beings are so amazing. And at this point in time, some of them are isolated, and they have been isolated for several months. So, for someone for me, like me, who has a lot of people in my house, so I'm interactive with quite a few people. And for some people that are isolated, that can be really lonely and potentially can drum up or surface depression, anxiety, triggers of some kind, trauma of some kind. And I know that, I'm not alone in some of those feelings and struggling, I guess, sometimes to know which way is up, which way is down. And that, we were talking tonight on that call about this loop that goes around. I'm not good enough. Who am I? Who's going to listen to me? Who's going to laugh at my jokes? Who's going to pay attention to me? Was a lot of the stuff that goes on. And I know that we're not alone in those feelings. There are many people that feel like maybe they're not enough in the moment, or they're not enough, period. And that's that sort of human struggle with being mean to ourselves, and that self deprivation, and that when sometimes something's going really well, to knock ourselves down a couple of pegs because it can't go that well for that long. They're patterns that show up, and they're from wounded places. And so, really loving and enjoying watching people bring themselves vulnerably, plug themselves into community, and then work through their tough stuff through the vehicle of comedy. And so every Wednesday evening, I get to laugh for an hour and a half with other like minded people that are moving towards creating something that, in hopes to help others. And I think, ultimately, I've been in a lot of different groups in the last couple of months, different groups here, there, and everywhere, sort of, some for business, some for personal growth, some for connecting and accountability. There's been an array of different places that I've plugged myself into over the last couple of months. And one of the things that shows up consistently through all of those groups and all of the people that share is this feeling of, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, my contribution doesn't matter, I'm up against my stuff, I don't know who is ever going to pay me for showcasing my talents, and who would ever pay me money, like that piece of, well, like, I will certainly pay other people money for their wisdom, and I've spent money in those places, but when it comes to the acceptance or the expectation of being paid myself for just whatever skills I bring to the table and whatever way that I want to bring that to the world, and we get caught up in but I'm not good enough, and who is going to, and what if that happens, and what if this happens. And I'm learning to walk in faith a little bit more these days, to walk in the place of, okay, so that story's old. It's been the story since the beginning of my time that I can remember for myself. And ultimately, even though that loop gets stuck on go, and sometimes I can find myself there by default and just go, oh my gosh, when is that ever going to stop? Well, it will stop when I recognize that I'm doing it. I give myself the compassion to find myself there yet again, and continue to dial myself back into doing something different. And so, even though I came to a breaking point last week and I was really stuck and I was really feeling angry and resentful at myself and others, to find myself in that position yet again where I've taken on too much. It's all that I can do to digest what I'm trying to do. I'm stretched beyond my capacity and I'm pushing myself really hard. And in that place, I determine I hurt myself. And so when I figure all of that stuff out, I go, geez, T, like seriously, what in the world is going to make it so that you don't have to go to those places anymore? And my experience is by practicing when I find myself in those places, by practicing to go, okay, there I am again, and pick myself up and understand that I'm allowed to dream. It's okay to have a dream, a goal, an aspiration, something that I really desire. It's okay to have feelings that we bump up against. It's okay to, to dream of the things maybe that we visited as a child that are sometimes something that we forget along the way or gets, lost in translation sometimes, and that ultimately we get to choose whether or not we want to proclaim those things or if it's changed into something different. But it's that tuning in place, that place of the, allowing it to emerge from within and allowing our lives to be in service to others. And so, tonight I received a really cool message from one of my good friends, and she said, I'm tired. I'm tired, and there are moments when I just want to give up, and then I think of you and the light that you shine, and I think to myself, wow, I'm just going to allow myself to rest before I pick up and carry on. And so somewhere in her, she sees something in me that inspires her not to quit. I didn't know that was happening. I didn't know that until she brought it to me, but it was already happening. It was already something that was happening. And so even though I've been kind of up in my shit the last couple of days, certainly the last week where, who's going to want to, I'm not a role model. What kind of leader am I? I keep falling down. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm kind of haphazardly feeling my way through this thing. And, sometimes I feel like I'm in a jalopy car with square wheels. And I'm, trying to figure this whole thing out. And in the background, there's this huge undercurrent going on. A lot of things have gone back to normal, so to speak, but there's a new normal, definitely. And I don't know how long that's going to last, and we're not sure about second waves. And there's just all kinds of information out there in the background that can be daunting and daunting. Not to mention the intensity of things that are in the news these days, right? Like all the riots and the protests and the rise up of things. So, we all watch with sort of trepidation and trying to find our place in how to best support what's going on for us and what's going on outside globally. And, today I saw something along the lines of, there are many lanes. So don't feel like you need to be in all of the lanes all of the time. Some people's lane will be protests, will be going on the front lines and be there, on the front lines. And that some, to the varying degrees of lanes across that, show up where you can, be responsible where you are drawn to. And if the only thing that you can do today is get through today because it's the only thing that you can do. I've had years of experience around that. I get it. Sometimes it's nearly impossible to pick my head up off the pillow. And so if that's the only thing that you can do is learn to love yourself and be gracious with yourself, then that's enough. Be gracious with yourself and others. Be kind to one another. Learn. I'm learning that I need to do more listening when it comes to learning instead of having an immediate response. And I think, for so long for me, my opinion has been often outside of what other people's opinions are. And for whatever reason, I make up because I'm powerful, my presence is powerful, and my opinion is strong. And that when I stand in that opinion, somehow somebody takes it on that they're wrong and I'm right. And that's never my intention. But my intention is to use my voice to amplify other voices, to be in service to people, to know that, please know that the little things that you do in other people's lives, they may be inspired by something that you are doing, something that you are saying, something that you are sharing, whether it's vulnerability or your will to move through things. There are people all around us that are connected to, and they're paying attention, and our contribution matters, and you never know. Give away a smile, if you're not behind a mask. Allow people, smile with your eyes if that's what it takes. Be the kindness, experience joy, remember to play. These things are so vital for my mental health and what I would suspect other people. My job at this point in time is to bring up my levels of self-care, because I've never done that before consistently, and to walk towards what it is that I say that I want. And today was a great day because I feel like I lived a little bit more on purpose than some other days. Today I felt like I was able to produce joy and community for other people to come and plug into. And learning that those talents that I have, to lean into them, to really own them and really admire them from myself, and not constantly be looking for outside recognition. To always remember to give myself those gifts first, and to let myself be the source, and to give that stuff away that we want to create in the world. I so enjoy spending time with you here. I'm so thankful when you come and spend time with me in my beautiful space. We've added a couple more hanging baskets. I can't do that on the screen. They won't be staying there, but they're pretty. And I really hope that you were kind to yourself and others today, that you felt joy, that you released something if you needed to. Please know that if you need something, reach out, be willing to ask for help, be willing to ask for support, and love yourself and others. Be kind out there. Love you. See you tomorrow.